Welcome to Slapshot Podcast, episode number 75. I'm your host, Christopher Morais. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Trickle on in. Happy Friday. I'm super excited to be here with you. We're into November. That's it. We're slowly approaching U.S. Thanksgiving. And we got a lot of hockey stuff to talk about today. We're going to break down, as always, some news. Puckdoku is back. Again, I'm going to try to keep my streak going here. And then we're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets. That's right. We're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets being a wagon to start the year. If you are new here and you have stumbled upon this podcast, hey, thanks for being here. If it's on YouTube, go ahead, hit the sub button, ring the bell. All right. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at FuzzyChris91, the podcast on Twitter at Slapshot Podcast. If you go there, you can click on the link tree, and then you can get the podcast wherever you enjoy podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, the whole 9 yards there. All right, so we can do all of that. Let's dive into some news, right? Things that we may have missed since last time we were here. All right. Dig right in. The NHLPA has announced the creation of a CTE advisory committee. The NHL refuses to acknowledge that CTE and like contact leads to it, like they're linked. But it's good on the NHLPA for having this committee. Brain injuries are traumatic. The goal is to protect players. The goal is to educate them. So that is definitely a positive. Good on the NHLPA for coming that. Maybe the NHL one day will change its tune. Yeah. Valeri Nichushkin is expected to make his season debut on the 15th of November. I'm pretty sure that's next week, next Friday. There you go. Expected to make his debut. He has been in the NHL Player Assistance Program since the playoffs of last year. He's been skating with the team here. Colorado could definitely use him in the lineup. Don't think he can defend, but he can definitely provide some additional offense. Just hoping he's doing well in whatever battles and challenges that he's having or had, that those are behind him and he can get back to playing the game that he loves. To the shock of absolutely nobody, Matvei Michkov was a healthy scratch on Thursday. So John Tortorella has officially scratched the rookie. I like, he's just like, it's part of the process. You can learn a lot of things from watching, which is fair. It's also quite the choice to scratch a rookie who has 10 points in 13 games. All right, for a last place Philadelphia Flyers team in the Metropolitan Division. So it's definitely a choice to scratch your second best point getter on the team to teach him something. I know he has slowed down a little bit here over the last few games, which is fine, right? But I think there are easier ways to have players learn things. And putting him in the press box for a game, I don't know. We knew it was coming. If you drafted Matvei Michkov in fantasy hockey, you knew this was going to happen. Not if it was going to happen, when it was going to happen. I would have preferred this to happen a little bit later on in the year, right? Not like second week of November, but look, it is what it is, right? Hopefully he's back in the lineup next game. Hopefully he stays there for a little bit. I'm just hoping that we don't see him get scratched too much because I need him. I have him in one league. I need him on my roster. I need him playing games, okay? So, John, send a message a different way. The Nashville Predators are last in the NHL. They have 9 points. Now, why is this important? Why is this news? The Nashville Predators went out and spent a whole bunch of money in the offseason, and like they didn't do that to be last, right? Their goaltending is not great. They're just not scoring goals. This team has all that firepower up front, right? You go out and you get Steven Stamkos, you go get Jonathan Marchessault, Brady Shea on the back end. You bring in all these guys, and the goals are not there. It's not for lack of trying, right? Like, they're shooting the puck. It's just not finding the back of the net. So I do think this will correct itself a little bit. It was more of the comments of Barry Trotz when he said that if this team doesn't turn it around, he's going to rebuild it. And I don't think he's talking about a rebuild in Nashville, because you have players that are signed to these lucrative contracts for a long period of time, right? So you can't. They also have no cap space. None. Zero. They are the highest spending team. So, like, what are we rebuilding here? If anything, I think they go out, maybe make a trade, try to bring somebody in. I don't know, man. But I feel like the Nashville Predators have to figure this out with the group of guys that they got there. There's too much talent on this team for them to be this bad. So I didn't have the Nashville Predators with 9 points heading, into November. I mean, I don't know, man. Figure it out. That's what it is. And to top it off here, it's not official yet, but Kevin Weeks' forehead has been talking about Igor Shesterkin closing in on an 8-year, $92 million contract. Okay, for those of you who can't do the math, that's $11.5 million a season. That would make him the highest paid goalie ever in the NHL. That is surpassing our good friend Carey Price, who is the highest paid goalie right now at $11 million. I don't know. Again, we've talked about this before, right? We talked about it with Adam as well, who you can catch with myself and over at Total Hockey Now. It's a lot of money for a goalie. It definitely is. And I don't know how successful NHL teams are with a goalie making a staggering amount of money like that. So I do agree that he has probably earned that money. The Rangers don't really have a plan B. So, and Igor's off to like a good start, right? He's good there. He got whacked around a little bit against Buffalo last game, but it happens. Good for him. Just good for him. If this deal actually does come together, then he's earned his money, and then it's on the Rangers to, I don't know, win Stanley Cups. I personally hope they don't, right? For selfish reasons, Chris Kreider. But I mean, the man has earned his money, and good for him. But yeah, I just don't know how successful NHL teams are when you tie up that much money into a goalie. But we'll see from there. So that wraps up the news. That's what you may have missed from the last time we were here. Now we're going to get into what everybody wants to see. Okay, I know. We have. I'm not going to lie. We've been cooking on Puckdoku. We've been cooking. It's a good start. I'm excited. We're going to try to keep that. We're going to try to keep that streak going. Okay. So let me bring this in. All right. There we go. Boom. So I have not cheated, of course. Right. I have not. And I'm going to try to keep that streak going. Okay. Now, right off the rip, I think I can do this. This is a gimme here. I had a buddy of mine send me the Puckdoku from Thursday. And I'm so happy that I decided to do this today on Friday, because I probably would have not gotten half of them. It was exceptionally hard. I feel like the Puckdoku gods are giving me an opportunity here, and I'm going to take it and run with it. So if you have no idea how this works, we got to get a player that matches both of these. So I need a player with 30 plus assists in a season who played for St. Louis, 40, 50. That's a give it. This here, right here, 30, 40, and 50 assists, I feel like I can do it. I really do. It's going to be about getting them in the right spot, though. You know what I mean? It's going to be about getting them where they need to be. All right. So, why don't we start with the St. Louis Blues here? Okay. I'm going to go in the 50-plus season here. I know some of you forget, but Wayne Gretzky was a St. Louis Blue. What? Hold on a minute. Hold on. Did Wayne Gretzky not play with the St. Louis Blues? +50 assists in a season. Gretzky's had 50+ assists in a season. And he played for St. Louis in 95, 96. Am I getting like... Nah, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Let me try a different one here. Is this... Am I getting... Am I getting bamboozled here? Does he have to have 50 assists with that team? Is that it? Where are the rules? How to play. Okay. It's provided by elite prospects. Choose a player in the designated cell, ensuring they match the specific row. The selected player must have played at least one regular postseason game on the current team. If a cell represents both an award stat on a team, that player's achievement or statistic must be recorded while they were a member of that team during their respective season. I see. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let's try that again. Okay, I didn't understand the rules. I didn't understand the rules. Okay? I'm going to... First of all, I should have probably done this. Okay. So... Okay, well, wait. I want to restart, though. What if I do it in incognito mode? I can't believe that is... I didn't have that on the bingo card. Okay. Okay. Let me just let's restart. Okay? Let's restart. Now that I understand the rules. Now that I understand the rules. Okay. Let's restart. Okay. Now, as I was saying, you need a player with 30 assists in a season, 40 assists, and 50 assists in a season, having played for that team as well. You understand? I know, like, with, like, teams and stuff like that, when it's teams, they only have to have played at least one game. I didn't know that it also count, like, for the points, they have to have had it in that year. Okay. So, Duncan Keith here. Let's start down here. Okay. Duncan Keith did have 50 assists in the season. I'm gonna go here with Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane definitely had 40. 30 assists in a season. Jonathan Tate. If I can spell it. Okay. We're off to a good start. Now that I understand the rules, we're off to a good start. Okay. Let's go to Dallas here. 50 assists in a season. I'm pretty sure, not Hero. Pretty sure Miro Heiskanen had Yeah, okay. Miro Heiskanen had 50. 40. Let's do Mike Modano. Now, I'm trying to think if Brett Hull had 30 in Dallas. Did he even play in Dallas? I feel like he did, but I'm not going to take that risk here. Okay. I'm going to go with a sure bet here, which is Jason Robertson. Okay. All right. Now I have to get St. Louis. Now that I understand how this works. St. Louis. I need 30, 40, and 50 assists. Now I'm trying to think if Chris Pronger had 50 assists with St. Louis. I do know. Here's the thing. I gotta be sure. So I'm gonna go with 30 here. Vladimir Tarasenko definitely had 30. Okay. So Vladimir Tarasenko definitely. I don't know if Chris Pronger had 40, but I'd like to think that he did. I think Robert Thomas had 50 assists because he gets a lot of them. He did. Okay. Now, 40 assists here. Do you think Chris Pronger had it? Or do I go safe here? I feel like he did. 40 assists for Chris Pronger just sounds like. Did he play now? I feel like he did. This was a long time ago. Let's go safe here. I want to get this done. Braden Shen. There we go. We did it. That's correct. We are 3-4-3. I did it. No. I know what you're saying. I didn't cheat. Okay. I just better understand the rules. Okay. I didn't understand the rules the first time. Now I understand them. All right. This is a W. This is a win. All right. This is a win. To me, it's a win. It's a win. It's 3 in a row. I don't care. I don't care. It's a win. Could care less. Could care less. All right. Oh, baby, that was something. That was something. All right. Let's go to I know. Let's go to the Winnipeg Jets here, okay? Because the Winnipeg Jets are a wagon to start the year. I knew that they would be good, okay? I had them winning the Central. I did not have them, though, at, 13-1 to start the year? 13-1. They're 13-1, right, to lead the Central here, okay? Now, there's going to be some regression here, of course. All teams suffer regression. You can't be on this heater forever, right? Teams will experience some moments where it gets tough. But the Jets are off to a fantastic start. I can't say it. They're scoring 4.5 goals per game, okay? Allowing only 2.14. Their penalty kill is at 80%. Their power play today is at 42%. It was at 44 yesterday. They didn't score as many power play goals against Colorado. That game, by the way, between Colorado and Winnipeg, I was promised goals. That game finished 1-0 in regulation. Okay. That goal was scored early in the first. So, after that, Georgiev just apparently becomes good again. Anyways, we're not going to divert here. This Winnipeg Jets team is built to win a Stanley Cup now. And you have to believe that they are going to get over the hump that is failing in the first round. Okay? Because 2 years ago, they played Vegas in the first round, and they were good for 4 periods, and then they got spanked. And then last year, they played Colorado, and Colorado made Connor Hellebuck look like a beer league 10 p.m. goalie. Like, he couldn't stop anything. And now, Connor Hellebuck, maybe you haven't been keeping up here. He is 10-1. Okay, he's got a 1.91 goals against average, a 932 save percentage. He has 3 shutouts, 2 of them, like the last 2 being back-to-back. We know that Connor Hellebuck is good. He's got a Vezina trophy under his belt. He is off to a fantastic start, and he looks like a Vezina winning goalie. Here's the thing. If you're a sports bettor, okay, the Jets to win the Stanley Cup outright today is 9-1. The Edmonton Oilers, the Florida Panthers, and the Carolina Hurricanes have shorter odds. The Edmonton Oilers having shorter odds is definitely a choice. But the Jets are 4th here at plus 900. So $10 bet pays out 100 total. That's pretty decent, I would say. Right? Let me find the regular season awards here because I want to look up the Vezina Trophy winner here. Vezina Trophy. Connor Hellebuck has the second shortest odds. So Igor Shesterkin at plus 230. Connor Hellebuck at plus 300. So $10 bet pays 40. I've watched a couple of Winnipeg's games because I wanted to understand like why they are so good. Because on the surface, this was a team a couple of years ago that we thought would be in transition to rebuild, right? And now, this team looks like they are ready to win a Stanley Cup. They have to get over the first round hump, okay? They do. And I'm not going to compare them to the Toronto Maple Leafs not being able to get out of the first round because those are 2 different things, okay? 2 very different things. The Jets have a team that is built to win basically because they have depth, okay? We're 14 games into the year. They have 10 different players with 10 or more points. They are getting contributions from everybody in that lineup. This is a deep, deep lineup, okay? Offensively, it is when you have everybody contributing, it's really hard to pick one line and just be like, hey, we're going to slow them down. Okay? This is their... Let me see if I can move it here. This is their top, right? Their top 12, right? On their offense, okay? Kyle Carter, Mark Scheifele, Gabriel Velarde. I mean, this line is just... They're crushing, right? They're doing well. Nikolai Ehlers has seen a surge as well. Good for him. Vladislav Nemestikov is one of those players that you kind of forget about, but you can move him everywhere in the lineup. He can play center. He can play the wing. He can play on the top line. He can play on the 4th line. He can play anywhere, and he just produces. Cole Perfetti, off to a good start as well. Nino Niederreiter has been good. Adam Lowry, Mason Appleton. Niederreiter and Appleton, that entire line there, they all have 10 points. I think Lowry's at 9. Okay? When your third line is that dominant, you're going to have success. NHL teams that win the Stanley Cup have third lines that are dominant. You can go back and check. When your third line is dominant, it adds a different layer to your hockey team. Because you can try to control the top 2, but when your third line starts to produce as well, now you're in trouble. Because now you're running out of defensive pairings, right? Because let's say your top 2 defensive pairings are playing all the time, right? Well, they can't guard against all 3 lines. At some point, that third pairing's got to get on the ice, and that's where you can expose them. And, Morgan Barron, Kapari, Alafayo doing what they need to do, solid 4th line. But this This group right here, there are some elite players on it. There are some good players. And then there are guys doing their jobs. This team is built offensively to be able to compete. You don't look at this off the rip and go, how is this team scoring 4.5 goals a game and how is their power play operating at 42%? You don't see that and say, oh, how is that happening? But they are. Contributions from everybody. Defensively, it's been great. Right? And now, again, you don't look at this defense and go, oh my God, they stand out. Right? Josh Morrissey has been really good. We know what he can bring offensively, but he's also playing significant minutes against the opposing team's best players, and they are coming out on top, right? So it's one thing for a defenseman to contribute offensively. It's another thing to be out there against the best and still have success, right? The Jets played really well yesterday against Colorado. Colorado had a push in that third period. They started to move. And the Winnipeg Jets didn't bend. They were solid, right? Neil Pionk has over 10. Does he have over 10 points? He does. He's got 13, which is really good. That's pretty good, right? And then you look at the rest of these guys, and Dylan DeMello, Dylan Sandberg, Logan Stanley, Colin Miller. These are good hockey players, okay? They may not wow you offensively, but they are solid in their own end. And you need part of, yes, Connor Hellebuck is a big reason why they've had this early success, but this defensive group has done their part. Okay? I think maybe the Winnipeg Jets go out and add a piece to their blue line. I would look for them to maybe add another puck-moving defenseman if they can afford it. But if not, this group here can definitely succeed. This is an all-around built to success hockey team. To me, the gold standard of what I'm looking for, a little bit like Vegas, right? Vegas doesn't have the goaltending, but they got a ton of depth, and their blue line is pretty good. And I'm going to throw the New York Rangers in there as well. I know it's been off to a rocky start, but they certainly have the goalie. Defensively, I think they had the players to do it, and offensively, they got depth. It hasn't all come together yet for the Rangers to start the year, but they're still off to a good start, and I still think they can build off it. But the Jets, to me, are just a well-coached team, and they are going out there and playing their best hockey. Now, can they keep this up all year? I personally believe that they can, okay, for a multitude of reasons. A, the Central Division is kind of mid, if I do say so myself. Okay, we've already puked on Nashville, so we're not going to go back there. The Chicago Blackhawks are themselves. Colorado's off to a rough start. We've documented that as well. Again, we don't have to, dump on them as well, but it is what it is. The St. Louis Blues are mid, man. They are just there, right? St. Louis is just there. I don't know what you expect from this team. Utah has been good. There's still a little bit of Arizona Coyotes in them. A little bit. But I think they can get better, right? That middle part is kind of like all over the place. Dallas is off to a good start. I'm going to give Dallas their flowers here. I think Dallas is the only team that can probably compete with the Winnipeg Jets for the top spot. I do. The Minnesota Wild are 9-2-2 to start the year. I don't know about them just yet. I don't know about them because, to me, the goaltending is a little bit like, and defensively, I mean, Minnesota's got players on the blue line, but the depth kind of gets real thin pretty quick. I think they've exceeded expectations. And for Minnesota, it's been their top, right? Their top two lines that have been doing most of the damage, right? I mean, Kirill Kaprizov can't be stopped. Matt Boldy looks elite. These guys are carrying this team. Okay. And they're scoring goals and all that, and it's all fun and games, but I don't think that long term through the entire season, they're going to be able to maintain this pace. So to me, the Winnipeg Jets, that Central Division to me just feels a little bit weak. There's some teams that they can definitely take advantage of. Right? And then if you go over to the Pacific, right, because they're going to play a lot more games against Western Conference teams. I mean, San Jose, Anaheim, Seattle, let's just throw them all into one basket. Those teams are not good, right? The Seattle Kraken are not either. The Edmonton Oilers, we're going to see what they are, right? We saw this last year. I kind of wrote them off a little bit. Not going to do this again, okay? Not going to do it right off the rip. The Calgary Flames are hanging out, man. They're hanging out. They're having fun. It's, it is what it is, but they've exceeded their expectations. The Vancouver Canucks have been good. I think there's a little bit more consistency that they want there, but it's good. It is. The Los Angeles Kings to me have been a lot better than I thought they would be looking at this team. And they still have parts that need to get moving, but at some point they will. And Vegas is the cream of the crop in the Pacific to me. They're unbeaten at home. They struggle on the road, but still early in the year. Still early. They'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. Vegas got a ton of depth. So I feel like the Winnipeg Jets it's not that it's easier for them. It's just that there's a lot of teams there that you can kind of manhandle. And in terms of like playing the best teams, they are still a class above everybody else. I expect them to finish first in the Central. We'll see if they can maintain this pace and finish first in the Western Conference. And then the cherry on top would be first in the NHL. Right? Every team's going to go through their growing pains. Okay? The Winnipeg Jets are no exception. But so far, this is a really good hockey team. And again, I said they would win the Central over on Total Hockey Now. I was very confident in that, most of it because they had the best goalie in that division. And Connor Hellebuck has made me look like a very smart man. I didn't expect them to be this good. But now we know where their potential is and how dominant they can be. So if I'm getting the Winnipeg Jets to win the Stanley Cup at 9-1 today, it's a pretty good bet. It's pretty good. I'll take it. I think they had shorter odds. Longer odds before the season started. But this team's good, man. I enjoy watching it. I watched Montreal and New Jersey yesterday because obviously I wanted to see how that goes. But like once Colorado and Winnipeg started, I went back and forth between that game and football. I wanted to see how the Bengals were playing because I know I feel bad for my dad because he woke up today probably and the Bengals lost again by 1 point. So I was very excited to watch Colorado and Winnipeg. I was expecting more goals, but that was a great game. And you could just see how much better the Winnipeg Jets are overall. Overall, this is a really good team. They have the best goals differential to start, right? Like, it's one thing to be good at one thing, right? Like, let's say the Winnipeg Jets were good defensively. Like, that wouldn't surprise anybody, right? Or, like, they gave up the fewest amount of goals. You'd be like, okay, sure, they have a Vezina caliber goalie. I would expect that, right? But it's all the other things as well that come with it. Like, this team is racking up goals. Their power play is so good. Their penalty kill is good. There's no weak spot for them to start. And again, growing pains are going to happen. But I like this team to, A, win the Central. I think we're okay with that. I do believe that they can get out of the first round. At least I'm hoping that. I think the Winnipeg Jets here can make a run. I really do. I really do. And as they get closer to the trade deadline, it's about going out and adding pieces, adding depth, right? Bottom 6 guys, 7 defensemen, guys who can come in, but your core is intact. Now you just need it to stay healthy. You need everybody to keep doing their jobs. You need everybody to keep going. And again, at some point, you're going to need to go through some adversity because you can't just be this dominant the whole year, right? You need to face some adversity so you can build. But they're elite. I can't say anything else about it. They're elite. It's been fun to watch, man. If you're a Winnipeg Jets fan, I know like sometimes I had a buddy he was in Winnipeg for work. Arena's not as full. I know like hockey's expensive to go watch, but man, the Winnipeg Jets deserve to have a sold out crowd every night when they're at home. They just deserve it. It's a great product to watch, man. So Jets fans, if you can, show some love. Go out, watch that team. I'm sad that I can't be in Winnipeg to watch them right now because I feel like it's a great show. But yes, the Winnipeg Jets, to me, excellent team. They're well built. They're a really good real-life hockey team. And yeah, don't let me down, all right? We've gone through everything. We've gone through the news. We've gone through Puckdoku. Went through the Winnipeg Jets. That, ladies and gentlemen, is this week's episode. As always, if you have not, okay, if you're still watching and you made it all the way here, I appreciate that, okay? Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Make sure you go ahead, hit the sub button, ring the bell, all right? Make sure you follow me on Twitter at FuzzyChris91, the podcast on Twitter at Slapshot Podcast, all right? Make sure you go ahead and do so. If you head over on Twitter to the Slapshot Podcast, click the link tree. You can subscribe to the podcast, the audio version, wherever you get your podcasts, all right? Make sure you go ahead and do so. Drop a comment if you're on YouTube, okay? Or a thumbs up. Really helps. All right? I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. We will see each other next week, all right?